Hello and welcome to our lesson, Quadratics, Double Check with FOIL. First, let's talk some definitions. A quadratic is an equation, so we do have an equal sign, that usually has three terms. Its written standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. The a, the b, and the c are all going to be numbers, and x squared and x are usually just x squared and x. However, a and b cannot equal 0 at the same time, and a, b, and c are all constants, in other words, numbers. And the term ax squared is always to the second power. Now, for factoring, when you find coefficients and variables that are multiplied, and right there is the key word, they're multiplied together to create a quadratic equation, that's what factoring is. When you see the word factor, you should automatically think, I've got to multiply something. Several factors of 24 would be 2 and 12, because factors mean multiply. 2 times 12 is 24. Same thing works when we're talking about algebra and variables. Factors of x cubed would be x squared and x, because when you take x squared and x to the 1, you get x to the third. Remember that when you multiply exponents, you don't really multiply them, you add them. So you're taking x squared plus x to the first, you're actually adding the exponents and getting 3, which is why you got cubed as the answer. Factors of x squared plus 7x plus 12 equals 0 would be x plus 3 quantity times x plus 4. Now to double check, we need to FOIL, or multiply. And FOIL stands for something to help you remember how to multiply these together. It's not a simple, I add x and 3 together. They're not like terms, so I can't add them together. I have to leave them as x plus 3. But how do I multiply x plus 3 times x plus 4? I bet I'm going to show you how. Okay. In order to double check the factors of a quadratic, you have to FOIL. Here we go. FOIL stands for first, outside, inside, last. And that's what gives you the clue on what to multiply in what order. If we look at it, first would be multiplying the first term times the first term. So we're actually multiplying x times x. And remember, when you're multiplying with exponents, they're ones, they're invisible ones, we're actually adding them, so you get x squared. Now you're going to multiply the outside. You're going to go x, first term times the very last one. So you're actually multiplying x times 4. And when we do that, we always want to write the coefficient or the number first and then the variable. So it's going to be 4x. Why is it positive? Because you have a positive x and a positive 4. Now we're going to multiply the inside, and that's going to be your 3 times x. So we would write 3 times x, which would give you 3x. And the very last is you're multiplying your 3 times your 4. So 3 times 4 is going to equal 12. Now, we're not done. We have all of these factors right here that we got when we multiplied. Now we're going to list them as one big addition problem. X squared plus 4x plus 3x plus 12. Make sure that you list all of them out so you don't end up dropping one or forgetting a sign in front of it. In this case, they're all positives because it was positives all the way across. Now, you notice something about these two terms right here? They're like terms. I've got a 4x to the first power and a 3x to the first power. If they're like terms, I can add them together. So I end up with x squared plus, remember when it says to add exponents, you don't do anything to them, you just recopy it, and 12. Now the question is, did we get back to the original quadratic? It looks to be it. That means that this right here that we came up with, the x plus 3 times x plus 4, that's actually the factor. Let's try another one. I'm giving you this problem and I'm asking you, is this the correct answer? 2x squared plus 5 times x plus 7. In order to figure that out, we're going to do FOIL. So let's do first, which is 2x squared times x. Multiply coefficients, so that's 2 times 1 is 2, but add exponents, so you've got x to the 3. Now let's do outside. You go 2x to 7, 2x squared to 7. Okay, only multiply the whole numbers, that's all you have for like terms, and then you have x squared. Now, we're going to go inside, which is 5 times x, which is 5x, and then we're going to go outside, which is 5 times 7. So that's 35. Now remember, you're going to take all the answers that you had right here, recopy them into one long problem. So you've got 2x cubed plus 14x squared plus 5x plus 35. Do we have any like terms on this one? We have a cubic, we have a squared, and then we have to the first power. No like terms, we can't combine anything, so this would be the answer. The question is, does that match the original one? Nope, it's not even close. So that means that what we were trying to figure out, this one right here, didn't work. So that's not the correct factor of the original question, which was 2x squared plus 17x plus 35. Turns out we picked the wrong numbers. It didn't match when we FOILed it. All right, let's try another one. This is the equation that they gave us. They wanted us to factor it. What do we multiply together to get that big, long quadratic? So we're going to do FOIL again. First, so you're going to look at x times 3x squared. You're going to get 3x cubed because you're adding your exponents. Then you're going to do outside, which is x times negative 2. So that means we have a negative 2x. Then you're going to do inside. You have a positive 4 times 3x squared. That's going to give you a 12x squared. And then you're going to have a positive 4 times a negative 2, which is going to give you a negative 8. And remember, you write all of your answers as one long problem. Keep the signs: positive 3x cubed, negative 2x, positive 12x squared, and a negative 8. Any like terms? I don't think so. You've got a cubic to the first power and squared, nothing to combine. Does this match the original one? So that means that these factors that you were hoping were correct are not the correct answer. At least you found out you have a wrong answer. All right, now here's one big hint. The signs in the quadratic equation tell you about the factors. If you have an addition sign there and an addition sign there, and then you have something out here. These signs right there give you clues about your factors. If you have two positive signs, that means when you create your binomials, that's what those are called, they're factors, you're going to have a plus here and a plus here. Because when you multiply positives, you always get positives as answers. What if you had a negative there and a positive there? Again, these are going to clue you in. When you're trying to figure out your factors, what numbers can you multiply? What kind of numbers can you multiply that create a positive, but added together are negatives? If I multiply a negative times a negative, won't that give me a positive? And your inside and your outside terms, you combine them by adding. So a negative plus another negative is going to give you a negative. So if you see a negative here and a positive here, both of your factors, your binomials, are going to have negatives in them. In other words, positive tells you same signs, and this one tells you what they are. Positive means both signs are the same, they're both negative, and that's how it worked. Positive told me both signs are the same, and positive told me they're both positives. So then what happens if you get this? Negative on the outside tells you that the signs are different. So you're going to have two different signs. You're going to have a negative, and you're going to have a positive sign. And this sign right here tells you the biggest number that you're going to write down has to be attached to the negative. So maybe we had 4 and 1. That wouldn't be the correct answer for this, but we're just saying. If we have a negative here, it means the signs are different. If we have a negative here, it means the biggest number, possibly in the factor here, has to be attached to the negative. If this were a positive, it would mean that the biggest number would have to be positive and that the other number would have to be negative. Positive tells you same signs. Inside tells you what the signs are. Negative tells you the signs are different. Inside sign tells you which one gets the biggest. So for a quick review, in order to double check a quadratic equation, you have to FOIL. FOIL is the first, outside, inside, and last. If the FOIL solution matches the original quadratic, your factors are correct. So your binomials that you were trying to FOIL, they're right if you can get back to your original quadratic equation. Remember, the signs in the quadratic equation give you hints about your factors. And that's it for our lesson on quadratics, double checking with FOIL.